Okay, hi there, Jason here from DTB Traders. I started the session a little bit earlier than I have previously. I thought we'll just jump on before the open so we can see what happens at the open with the strategies and at least get all the basics out the way in the meantime. So for those familiar with the DTB system, you've got quite a large suite of indicators and strategies, as well as the bar types. And you also have all the hours of video tutorials to really help you understand the tools and how to use them effectively, together with the support from the Skype and the Facebook and all the rest. So we're going to be trading the NQ on this session. So we're just looking at the risk disclosures first for the futures trading. So that's on there. So very important to look at, and there's a link to it in the video as well. Okay, so let me bring up the server. So I'll go through the optimizations and things that we did a little bit later. So I'll just stop the video for now. And we've got about 4 minutes until the open. So I'll let that just work in the back end. And we'll go through the optimizations a few minutes after the open. Perhaps we can even start the session 15 minutes earlier prior to the open, so we can have, all the optimization out the way, as well as, just looking at what the results were and what the method was around the optimization. So we can look at maybe doing that next week. Just starting a little bit earlier, just so we can get everything set up before the open. So that might be a good idea. I'm just going to check the YouTube while the last 3 minutes are going on. I've got one video. Yeah, I've got this on the go, so I'm going to just do that quickly. All right. So we're coming very, very close to the open. And we'll see what the strategies do, and then I'll go through what I did with the optimizations. Okay. All right, I'm just going to quickly do this. Okay, so we've got another 2 minutes to go before the open. And I'm just setting up the live stream on here with some details. What am I missing? There we go. I'm just putting in some stuff on the YouTube. So NinjaTrader.
Morning, gentlemen.
Hey, how are we doing?
Doing good. Hey, Jason, thank you very much.
Morning, Ed.
Hey, Joseph. Yesterday was good for me. I had you mute because I was using the telephone, but it made it to 350 at some point, and then I had to start working. So it was good.
Okay, very good. Good to hear. Good to hear. All right, so we'll just see what happens at the open with the strategies. Now, I've got two strategies activated, one on an 8-8 chart and one on a 56-8 chart. It's a little bit of a varied approach today, looking at these. And I've also got them running on two separate accounts, just so we can look at them individually. And so that's what the strategies look like in the thing. I might just increase the size of this. So going into properties and increase the size of the text so we can see what that is doing. A bit better. Okay. All right, so there's this first strategy, the first position. So I've actually got a target on the strategy, and I've got 2 entries per direction. Okay, so we actually had a very quick action over there. Very, very quick action. And if I look at the result so far, it was very quick. It was $58 in those few seconds, just from that entry that happened over there at the open. Okay, so there's the next entry. Like I said, I've got a target on these. So you're going to see that that hit its target again. So that was very quick. We're up to $250 in the first minute of open. We're in another trade now. It's a bit high. Let's see what this one does. It's an 8-8 bar, so you may have some quick switch over of trades if it happens like that. So there is our next entry and our almost target on the second entry. So there's our second target. So there we're basically up to 646 in our first minute of market open. So if your target was $500 for the session, you're done. You're done. So you can put your target profit in your in your strategy settings to be able to choose what those results are. So going into your strategy settings, you've got an option there to choose your daily target and stop. So that is in there.
Jason, to obtain these settings, you optimized how many days back?
Yeah, so I'm going to go through that in a moment. So I thought we'll just watch the opening. We'll just watch the first few minutes of this session live while the strategy is entering its positions automatically, and just see what it does, and go from there. Now I've only got a target on these, so the strategy is going to automatically switch signals if it picks up a different signal. So it's not like you're going to have positions just running to eternity at a loss if it does go the wrong way. You're going to have it switch over positions if it does, if the signal does turn over. So we'll monitor that happening. Okay, so that kind of missed something over there, but that's okay. We'll just leave that. So it's still not picking up a reverse signal. It's still picking up that this is a sell. So let's just see. Okay, now it's switched over. Okay, so there it's switched over, and it's got its next target in place into a sell over there. So it's a very active strategy, this one. It's entering a lot more positions than it was. Okay, cool. So we watched the first few minutes. Let's watch it until 9:35. So another 2 or 3 minutes. Okay, we're at a strong Fibonacci level now. So if you notice that, we're at a strong Fibonacci level. It's kind of a broken through. I'll take the data off this one. So data series, just remove the text and marker. So just make it do not plot. We don't need to see the plotting of that. And we can go back and look at the strategy itself. So a little bit of indecision at the moment with regards to the price. We are, yeah, the strategy is just doing its thing at the moment. Okay. All right. So let's have a look at how I came up with these settings and what I did to optimize it. So I'm going to bring up this first chart was an 8-8 chart. So we can have a look at that one first. So what I did with the 8-8, we can watch this one hit its target. We'll see if it does. Okay, not yet. Okay. All right, let's see. So what I did with this, I did something a little bit different to what we've been doing on these calls. So with the optimization, just going from the top, we'll run to the settings, and you'll notice exactly which ones or which settings I use slightly different to our previous session. So I'm still optimizing the data between 9 a.m. and 10:55. So that's exactly the same. Okay, so using that time slot. What I did over here is I chose target ticks. I went into target ticks and I selected 40. So I used the target ticks in increments of the baseline size. So because I'm using an 8-8 bar, I'm using, in increments of 8, basically five bars. So that's the target that it's going to be. And I selected true as use target ticks. Okay, so that's what I did over there. And obviously we've got false as the trailing stop because we are using a fixed target. And I'm optimizing trend 1 to 20 as setting A and 1 to 40 as setting B. So that's basically the same settings as we used before. And I've used optimize. So over here, I've used optimize for trade first, repaint second, third, and fourth. So those signals over there are on optimize. And like we said, we're using the 8-8 bar. And this is what I did a little bit differently. So I increased the range of days to analyze. So you notice over there, I did the 27th or the 24th of July. So I went a little bit further back in the data. So I basically went a month further backwards than we have done before. And the reason why I did that is because I chose a very specific trading hours template. So notice there, I've got Tuesday open to Wednesday close. So I'm only looking at the data for a Wednesday. So Tuesday open to Wednesday close is basically Tuesday 6 p.m. to Wednesday 5 p.m. So that's covering from Asia open up until New York close. So what's happening is the strategy analyzer is only loading the data for a Wednesday. So it's loading up from the 24th of July up until today, but only Wednesday's data. It's not looking at any other days. Okay. So that is an important thing. We normally use instrument settings, that we have been using instrument settings, but this is very specifically analyzing a Wednesday's data. And not only just the Wednesday's data, we're analyzing the data between 9 a.m. and 10:55 a.m. So it's very, very specific what we're analyzing. And running this optimization, including commission, I use the slippages 3. So all the rest of the settings are exactly the same as we've been using before. And what I did is I came up with settings that have showed to be very effective. So this specific setting that we're using here, the 5-10. So if we look at the 5-10, there's the trades that it's entering. There's the strategy. It's a 5-10, setting A 5, setting B 10. Okay. And this specific strategy, if I just increase this again, we're looking at the 5-10 settings, and I looked at all the dates. So all of these dates you're looking at there, 28th of the 7th, 8th of the 4th, 11th of the 8th, 18th of the 8th. Those are all Wednesdays. So if you go over here and you go day of week, it's showing Wednesday. So this is just another way of using the strategy analyzer to give you the best possible odds of being successful. That's what we're trying to do. So at the end of the day, we know that trading is a numbers probabilities game. And all we're trying to do is put the odds in our favor of getting the best settings possible to be able to work for the trading session. And the analyzer gives us this ability to do that because you're able to use that. You're able to use the analyzer, but it's still a very tricky thing to learn. But once it's understood and once you work with it, you can actually, it can be a very useful tool. Okay, so going back to this, so they're daily, so they're like it's showing, it's only showing the Wednesdays. So the history of this trade, of this system, those are the trades. So on the 28th, it entered 41 positions. On the 4th, it entered 58 positions. Now remember that these results that you are seeing, it's including the commission. So the commission is already factored in there. You see, so it's already calculating $1,047 as commission. It's also calculating slippage. So I put slippage in there, you see. So all of those trades, it's including slippage and it's including commission. So if you had to run this optimization and you did not include slippage or commissions, you might get many, many more trades. But in the real world, that's going to completely screw you over because the commissions and slippage kill you if you don't include it in your optimization. So anyway, that's what I looked at. So I looked at the optimization of that period, which settings are giving me the best consistent results. Now, some days, like I said, only $180. Some days, $1,500, $400, $3,500, $900. So there's a few mixed results over there. Okay. Even there, entered 40 trades for 24, but it's been a consistent windfall for this setting, basically, since the beginning. So that is the cool thing about this. So just looking at that, it's going to give you all the statistics, and the percentage rate is also good. Look at 64.81%, a drawdown of 2,300, and a return of 11. Now you can go and look. So there's 270 trades in total. So that seems like a lot of trades. You could look at something that's a bit fewer trades, but obviously the results are going to be different. So this one has got an 84% result for Tuesdays. But then looking at the analysis of it, you're going to notice that you may notice that a few days are missing, but it is fewer trades. So this is not a bad one either. So this setting over here is not a bad one to use either, because you'll have much fewer trades in the session. All right. But still not bad. I mean, you got some good positions. So that's the idea behind that. You still just want to have a target in mind. So if you're targeting a specific dollar value, you can work out what that value should be based on the history of the strategy. You can work out your win percentages, your average trades. You might, like I said, target between $500 and $1,000. That might be your goal. Because remember, at any time things can change with the settings. The settings could go out of whack or whatever. But at least with this, it's giving you the best possibility of at least having something that is consistent. Okay, so that's the idea behind the 8-8. So I have saved this template. Now, the only thing is I saved it under Analytical Buy Strategy 1, but that's okay because you all are going to be on this anyway in a few days. You're not going to have the focus group strategy. So I'm still going to save this. And you can basically, well, I have saved it already because I've got it running on the chart. But I will save it anyway. So this is the 8-8 with 40 target. And I'll just call it trading chart. And I'll put it in the OneDrive folder with the recording of this specific session that we are watching now. Okay. So that is that. Let me just see. Okay, so that's that one. Now, the next one that we can have a look at is the 56.8. Okay, so I'll bring that up on the screen and look at that optimization. So earlier today, I had a little bit more time. Today to look at this. Not a lot more, but a little bit more. And what I did is I ran the optimization. And on this bar, I did the similar thing as we have been doing before. Actually, hang on. What am I? Is this still? This is still the 8.8. Sorry, I've got the wrong. I've got the same one in front of me again. There it is. There's the next optimization. Okay, so this one over here. I'm using the instrument settings. And I've used between the 28th of August and today. So that's a month's worth of data. So I'm taking about a month's worth of data, and using that in this optimization. So from the top, we'll just go through the settings again. So still optimizing the exact same time slot in the strategy. So we're still using the 9 to 10:55. Nothing's changing there. I'm not using stops and targets over here. So you'll see there's no stops and targets. There's no trading stop being used. I'm using a setting A 1 to 20 and a setting B 1 to 20. So I just limited or reduced the range that it's working in. So instead of 1 to 40, I've made it 1 to 20. You can obviously go and increase these ranges. Just bear in mind it's going to increase the iterations that the strategy is going to be running. Okay. And I've made true. So I've made all the repaints and everything true on this one, because that also increases the amount of iterations that the strategy runs. So that's important. And what I did over here is I went to the bar size. So I went and selected a value of between 8 and 96. Now you can choose any value over there. So basically it's gonna analyze 8.8, 16.8, 24.8. It's gonna optimize, it's gonna analyze all of those values in that range in increments of 8. So I did that and I used that data and 20 results, max net profit. So everything else was the same, and I ran that. It probably took about 40 odd minutes to run those results. And what happened there is it came up with a few different bar sizes. So if you look at the analyzer, you're going to notice that it says 56, 88, 8, 56. So what I did here is I took these results that it gave me, and I looked at the numbers that were coming up most frequently. So looking at this, we've got 56. 56 came up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 56 came out 8 out of 20. So I know that this bar size over this entire period is showing the best value, or showing the most profitable value, 56. So what I did then is I took that 56, okay, so 56.8, and I opened up I duplicated that into a new window. And instead of optimizing the data series again, I just selected 56 and 8. And then I ran that optimization, and that only took about 2 or 3 minutes to run. Okay, so that is what that one did. And it gave me these results. So then I went and applied these results to the trading chart after I went and analyzed what the previous history of this is. So, as you can see, it's a little bit of it's interesting to monitor what the strategies are doing and what the history is, and things like that. So I again went over here and I looked at the results, and I looked at the drawdown. I looked at all the different things, and I chose a number out of this. So if I look at 5, I chose this one over here. So I chose this one. It's had a few more trades, 44% accuracy, 17,000, has shown a good steady, even on a Wednesday, has shown a decent result. So that's what I basically did over here for this one. And so once you figure out what bar size is ideal or is giving you the best results, you can go use that on a separate optimization. Okay, and then what I did again is I ran the 22. So I just went and used different bar sizes. So once you've got your setting in place, what you're doing, you can duplicate your analyzer in a few different tabs. Then you can go work with a few different bar sizes. And I was just looking at different options. Now, this isn't one that I selected to run on a chart, but it's not a bad setup itself. Okay, so if you look at this, you're going to notice I'm optimizing both trend and reverse. Actually, I think I did trend and then I did reverse separately, and reverse actually showed the best settings. And what else did I do? So I've optimized all of these, and I also used a target tick. So I used the target ticks of 66. So from the top, from that section over there, I used a target ticks of 66. So, and I used the very specific trading hours of Tuesday open to Wednesday close. And looking at this, this is going to give you also the results for every single Wednesday in the past. So it's showing you that these are the trades that the strategy entered in the past based on the settings on the 22 bar using that specific data, and it looked pretty good. I mean, it's at 7.5, 690 drawdown, 87% accuracy. There's a few others with different values. So by doing that, you've also just opened yourself another opportunity to enter a high percentage profitability type of a situation. So looking at the chart as an example, we go back and you can see, it's only showing that data of Wednesday, and it's showing the signals that the strategy would have entered on those days. Okay, so that's basically a history, and these are reverse trades. So it's actually entered reverse trades as the best options for the strategy to enter. So you'll notice that all of these positions are reverse positions with that profit target. I'll go back a little bit more and just look at like a day like this. So you see it's entering much fewer positions, but when it takes a position, it's entering a reverse, and it's, if the price is bouncing around like it does, it's going to be entering those type of positions. So that's the cool thing about the strategy too, is you've got the reverse built into it to be able to, take into consideration, that option too. So that's just some good ways of working with the analyzer to give you the best results. So that was as far as that goes. Let me just see. Okay, so the chart, so this is currently what this strategy is doing. So it started off with a little bit of a zigzagging over there with 2 positions. and is now currently in a long position. So that is going up. And that was the last, basically the last signal from the strategy. So I've got a bit of a lag here again. I'm moving my mouse and it's not really responding too well. So, you know, again, also I've got a you know, like another window open next to the trading chart, and on there you can have your shadow trading indicator, which will help you with, you know, staying in a trade for longer. If you are watching the signals on there, you know, you're watching you know, what the price is doing. You can even switch over to you know, different values of a bar. So you can go over here and switch to like a, let's go to a analytical bars, and we will choose like a 22 and a 22. So I don't know why I've got a let's go like that, and I'll apply that. Okay, so now we're getting to the stage where we've got some divergences. Momentum line is dropping below price. So, you know, if you were in this position now, like we are, and you start seeing this, I would be prepared for a close of a pause of the strategy. So you might decide to pause the strategy, but we are above a strong level. There's that 23%. So we've seen how the price reacts around these Fibonacci levels. So often the price is going to break through, come back and retest. And we're just hoping that this type of situation is a bounce off that 23. Momentum line is facing right down though, so a little bit tricky in the situation. Be nice if it switches over. But this is the kind of a setup that you can look at, and you can go and look at your strategy, and you can go and pause your strategy that's active. So we're in this strategy right now. Come on, where's my mouse? We'll look at this one over here. I'll just keep an eye on this momentum line with this indicator, and we can actually watch what the price does around here. So you can see how we're at a place now where the price is probably going to come down a bit. So we'll, if this bar breaks to a new level down, we could exit the strategy, because then we've got a confirmed breakout of that 23.6. So that's the benefit of having a slightly larger bar, is you can look at what the price is doing on a slightly larger bar, and then make your decision based on a confirmed breakout. So right now the price is at that 23.6. Yes, it has come under a little bit, but there's still a chance it could bounce up from there. If this bounces down, I would be happy to exit this position, and capture that move up that it has had so far. So just looking at this. So as you can see, the 56.8 bar that we're looking at right now, it's 56 ticks. Each of those longer bars is 56 ticks. And the shorter little bars you're looking at is 8 ticks. So it's basically giving you 56 plus 8 to go break down to a new bar size. So if this price now goes and moves 56 plus 8 ticks, it's going to form a bar, a new baseline. So that is what this one does. As you can see, it looks like this is a bounce off that Fibonacci level. So if we had paused our strategy at that level, and this price goes up and forms a new baseline, which it did, we probably would have missed out on this nice move up now. So that's why it's good to just perhaps not act immediately on a move coming down unless you can see like a confirmed breakout. Like I said, you know, if the price comes and forms this baseline over here, then you've got basically a confirmed breakout that the price has bounced off that 23.6. So just looking at a longer term chart like this can give you a little bit of, you know, extra movement in price, and you can just be a little bit wary of what price is doing. So if it's going to come down now, so, you know, the price could easily have gone up another bar, and it could easily have come down another bar. So you got to just decide where you want to actually jump out of the position. We're coming back down again. This looks like, you know, we don't know what's going to happen. It could come down, could come up. So as soon as it forms a new brick, you know, then I would say I'm going to exit this position. Now, yes, you have given up a lot of what it has done. And if you are working on a funded account where you've got some sort of a trailing drawdown, then you wouldn't want to, you know, run it too far from its high to its low. You'd rather take the highs as high as much as you can. But in this, if this, you know, if you got your own account, then you can obviously be a bit more open to what you are doing. So again, it's coming just above the 23.6 again. We don't know if it's actually it broke through and then reconfirmed it, or what's going to happen. So I'll just watch this and then pause it if it does go and break downwards. I didn't want to move my mouse too much, but you can also have a look at your shadow trading. So there you got the sellers in control of price. You know, so also just looking at that bar on another chart would also have given you a nice look at what the price is doing, and then you can make your decisions on that. So that was a classic, that's a classic example of a signal that this price is more than likely going to be coming down, but I'm still going to just wait for that bar to go to the next level. Again, having a few charts on different windows, watching it is a good thing to do, because then you can actually see in real time what those charts are doing and look at the signals on them. Okay, so this looks like it's definitely consolidating under that 23.6, at least at this very moment. It's going to come back possibly and retest it if it doesn't break down on this bar, but it's probably looking like it's going to be coming down. So let's see. So there's no Fibonacci level below it. So there's nothing really stopping it from coming down because there's no strong support below it. But then the same goes for above the price, for above that level. So you can go and switch to your other chart and see what the price is doing on that bar. I've got the momentum line slightly changing its angle. So the angle is changing on the momentum line. So that could be a sign that the price is going to come up a little bit. But that momentum line is quite far away from price. It is, however, starting to face up. So that could be a bit of a sign that this price could be reversing up again. So remember, when that momentum line is facing right down, it kind of sucks the price down. But now that it's leveled off a bit, probably looking at, you know, going up a bit more. So we'll just see what happens around this 23.6. This 23.6 level is going to be very important to keep an eye on. If we have continued failure around this level and the momentum line starts facing down, then we probably need to get out of this position. yeah, it's not looking the absolute greatest. Momentum line still a little bit higher than what it was before. Just watching this. So again, so there we go. So that was our decision to wait until that worst case scenario for that bar to break. So unfortunately, we got taken out there. And what often happens is the damn price does switch around, but we can always wait for the next signal. So you can wait, you can watch this chart now. Okay, you can watch this chart and you could say, I'm going to enter when the price breaks above the 23.6. So then we've even had divergences over there. So if I waited a few seconds longer, I probably would have held onto this for a bit longer, especially that we've had these divergences. But we have had a few confirmed breakdowns from this 23.6. So even though we had an extremely powerful signal on top here to sell, and the price did go down, a long way from there, if you had even exited when you see that huge amount of confirmations over there, that could also just be, you could have secured that move in the price. And the more you work with the strategy, the more you're going to realize that the signals that this gives is pretty good. The only reason why I was a little bit reluctant to close that position was because the price went above the 23.6 and it looked like it was just going to come and reconfirm. But for now, the price is struggling a little bit around this level. We've got some more divergences at the bottom. Momentum line has increased in height. So if you were in a sell position now, I probably would just jump out of it because we've got the momentum line flattening out. It's not facing down like it was before. Not to say that it won't change in the next 2 or 3 bars, but right at this very moment, it doesn't seem, it's not the highest probability that it's going to come down. We're more than likely going to see a rise because of divergences and these arrows and momentum line. So it all depends what this momentum line does in the next few bars. So there we've got a few more arrows. Momentum line is definitely just flattening up, facing, it's basically leveled out in this whole area, all the way from these bars further back. And now, there we go, the buyers have won the battle for right now. Again, we're at the 23.6 Fibonacci level. So if you were watching this, and you were thinking of entering a long, I probably wouldn't be entering a long anyway with the momentum line where it is. But watching this, if you were in a sell position, you could just hold on a bit until you get a confirmation that the price is going to definitely break above the 23.6 again. So just little things that you can look out for with this indicator. And it's going to be very helpful to pay attention to what the momentum line is doing, because that's going to give you the overall tendency of where more likely this price is going to be going and what it's going to be doing. So there we go. We've had a huge swing up in the momentum line. The bars are green, which means the buyers are now basically in control of the price. We are at a strong Fibonacci level though. So we've had that resistance before. But it now has, yeah. And there we go. So now we're above the 23.6 again. So notice how that momentum line gave us that forewarning long before that, that actually happened. Just from watching what the price was doing here with these arrows appearing in real time and the momentum line really starting to filter up. So this is also very interesting now. We've got an arrow against the 23.6 Fibonacci level. So if it breaks below, this could be your opportunity to enter a sell. And you've got a few things going for you here. You've got the 23.6, you've got a sell over here, but you still got this momentum line facing right up, and it'll be good to see what that does next. So there, as an example, that is a situation where it's telling us that this price is likely to come down. So this is where the sellers have just taken over control of the price. It's a battle on this very bar that we're looking at right now. So looking at that, and it helps to have the coloring of the bars in play, you see, because that's telling you who is more likely in control of that price and what that price is doing. And if you really have to trail the price, you can do that now, even if it is to, a break even type of thing. Although I'll just leave it up there because we are on this, on the sim. You want to give the price a little bit of room to move. Often it'll come back and just retest that Fibonacci level again. We do have an arrow that's now come facing up, but the momentum line is facing down. So even though you've got a divergence arrow facing up, you still have this momentum line facing down quite considerably. And if you get a change in direction of that, you could basically exit that position. So the only reason why I haven't exited it already is because this momentum line has still got a very, very nice angle facing down. So we'll see how that looks at the close of the bar. So it's still facing down. So this is more than likely going to be going down. The momentum line is still, it's still at a good angle, but it's kind of at an area before where it struggled to go further down. So it'll be interesting to watch to see what the price does around here. If this momentum line really starts flinging down, then we know that we're in a beautiful, trend going down. Even back to the 61.8. So that is the next strong support area for price. Is the zero level here, which is also the 61.8. So that is the what is that again? The pink one is the, come on. Sorry, it is the daily Fibonacci. So you're looking at the daily Fibonacci levels there, you see? So those are strong values, the daily Fibonacci levels. This little gray one you're looking at here, that is the 5-minute Fibonacci level. So if you were looking at that, if the price bounces off that, I mean, it's a 5-minute level, so it's not as strong as the daily, obviously. As you can see before, it just went right through it, not even hesitating. It did come back down a little bit, maybe to come and retest that 61.8, but it just flunked through again. So again, you're just watching what the price is doing, and you can make a decision based on, especially if it's going to bounce off the 61.8, then you can exit the position. If it goes right through, then you would stay in it until maybe even a bit closer to that 61 to this pink level over here. But that momentum line is looking very very decent at this stage. It's leveled now with where it struggled before. So yeah, so I close over there because it's basically it's showing a bit of struggling over there. So there we go. It struggled over there. Now the momentum line has changed angle again. So here you could just be out of it again, because as you can see, it kind of has struggled here before, so it may struggle here again. So that is the that's basically how we can, you know, work with these tools. It's coming back to the 61.8. So, you know, again, type of thing, you could use your bars that you've got on your chart as levels to have your trading stops and things like that. So if you want to have a bar like that, if you want to have your stop over there, but you definitely would be out of this position by now because this momentum line has really struggled to continue facing down. So again, it gives you a kind of a hint way in advance that this price is going to struggle. So on a few previous calls, we discussed the idea of putting limit orders on bars, you know, like that, and then entering, and even if you're just targeting the top of that bar as a, you know, as a target point. So you got a 50-50 risk reward where you got a 25 tick stop and a 25 tick target, and then running from there. I got some message. Okay, perfect. Okay. So I just want to check what is happening on our charts. What? I've gone and pressed the close button on the chart trader again. That's what's oh shit. That's what's happened there. Okay, so I'm not going to bother restarting them again. So we, you know, as you saw in the beginning of the session, we hit those targets pretty well. We hit those targets very nicely. So if you were targeting even $800, you would have hit them very easily on those on the strategies they were running. Again, I used the chart trader to close that position, which has disabled the strategy. So that is that. Okay, so I'm not going to bother restarting all of this now. We've yeah, I think it's a lot of information for you guys to have taken in on this, especially using where were we? Just review this about the strategy analyzer. I think that was very important to look through. So go and have a look at what we've done over here. I'm going to post the recording of this video in the OneDrive folder. At least it'll be in high definition over there, and then at least you can pause it. You can check certain aspects of it, and then it'll just give you a bit of work around the optimizations and how to run the strategies. And I'm sure it's going to produce some really good results, as it has already on this session. Great. I've got Eduardo with me. How's it going on your side?
Let me check. Let me check strategy right now. I optimized on a 8x18, but looks like it hasn't taken any position yet. Let me see. No positions yet.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll keep it running when it should.
Yeah. All right. Perfect.
Thank you.
Okay. Good. Well, I'm actually going to end the call there. I said I was only going to do 3 sessions this week, so we'll keep it at that. I will not be doing a session tomorrow, so we'll be back in on Monday again. I've had a very, very long week so far, so I will kind of just leave it at this, and we'll catch up on Monday again, and we'll do some optimizations around what we did today. So similar type of thing. We'll get the strategies running. We'll watch them trade live like we did in the beginning of the session. And we can also just start the call a few minutes earlier so we can go through all the settings, all the optimizations, and then watch the strategy entering.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, thank you guys, and I shall see you next week.
Thank you, Jason. Bye-bye.
Okay, cheers.